Hi, everybody. Welcome to class this morning to half and half. Um, Crazy week, I think, for a lot of us for so many reasons. Um, I think maybe one that is true for almost everybody is just weather. There's just been some really crazy weather, and obviously for some people more than others, it's a lot of hard stuff going on in Texas for sure. And then other places, just this polar vortex, right? How it's going through and hitting different parts of the country and definitely the South, um, with some flooding and all sorts of craziness. Yeah, um, I think sometimes one that is exhausting. Even just like watching the news about all these things can be really exhausting, and kind of, that sort of tenseness of even thinking about it, right? Like even if you're not there, but thinking about it, like that tenseness of it. Um, and then, yeah, like maybe it's good sometimes to just like move and breathe and be in your body and spend an hour just like not thinking too much about anything, and just kind of letting it go, right? Like inhale, exhale, next breath, inhale, exhale, next breath. So, yeah, that's kind of where my thoughts are as we start today. So, maybe we can do a little bit of that together. So, how about starting on your back with the knees bent and the feet hip distance apart? And then, however you want your hands. I feel like this is the Scott Anderson way of putting your hands down. I often do this, but this feels nice to me today. So I'm just going to take my palms up and my arms open and just start with that. So, this constructive rest position, this position right here, I will sometimes call constructive rest. And those two terms, constructive and restful, there's a nice like a little bit of dissonance between the two terms. We don't always put them together. So I relax and I rest, but I keep the knees bent and the feet flat so that I can't fall asleep. And that's the more constructive part. So I can stay alert, I can keep paying attention, have just a little bit of activeness. I don't want my knees to fall open or fall in. And that keeps my mind just a little alert with my body. And then with your breath, with your focus, kind of riding the line between so relaxed and kind of, relaxing so much that your mind just drifts away, and being very focused and attentive and active. So the line between active and restful, I'm going to find that space. Watch the inhale and watch the exhale. And just an easeful filling up with the inhale and an easeful weight and relaxation with the exhale. Not trying too hard. You don't have to do it right. You just do it and watch. And then let's take that into some knee folds. Inhaling, and the right leg floats up, so the knee's over the hip. And to exhale, the foot goes back down. And to inhale, the left leg floats up, knee over hip. and exhale down. So follow your breath. It's definitely a little bit of work to lift the leg, a little bit of control to lower the leg, but no big deal, right? You're aware, but you're kind of relaxed about it. You're not making a huge deal out of it. Alternating side to side. Finish up this set. And then take your hands, place them behind your head. Let your elbows come up a little bit off the floor so you feel your shoulder blades wide. Exhale, let your weight drop into the floor. Take a breath in. And as you exhale this time, bring the head up off the mat. Feel how the shoulder blades peel off the mat. Look into your belly and stay here. Take another breath in and out. And then slowly lower down. Let your head be held and supported by your hands. And then lightly place it on the floor and relax everything. And then take another inhale. And as you exhale, hands support the weight of the head, lower ribs sink, pelvis stays heavy. You stay up for another breath. And feel how the hands support the weight of the head as you lower, keeping the pelvis relaxed. I'm going to do that a couple more times. See what you notice. Pay attention, but also don't be too tense about your attention, right? Don't get too caught up in doing it perfectly or worried about being exactly right. Inhale, exhale, move, repeat. And once your head comes down this time, take your hands away and take a couple breaths. Here we are, constructive rest, but maybe things are a little more woken up, awakened. Maybe that's the right term. I can feel my belly and my breath a little differently. I can feel my upper back a little bit more. I actually feel my feet a little bit more. It's just like enlivening things a bit. And then however you like, find a way up to sitting. And then let's go to hands and knees. Hands under your shoulders and knees under your hips. And almost like that same constructive rest idea, like attention of now, like, okay, I'm going to think of my whole hand in the floor. I'm going to think of my lower legs relaxed and my knees really connecting to the floor. I'm not pulling up in any of those places. I'm going to do a quick little, like, do all 4 points touching the floor feel like they have a fairly even sense of weight, but I'm not going to get super granular about it. I'm just going to notice like, oh yeah, I'm not really putting weight on my left side, and then see if I can put a little weight on my left side. And then take a little bit of breath here. Think of the inhale and exhale moving through your back space a little more. I feel like when I'm lying on my back, I really feel my breath through my front space. And now I'm on my hands and knees. I'm going to think about filling up my back space a little bit as I inhale. and my awakened abdominals from the last exercise. I'm going to feel those a little on the exhale. And then we're going to do a little head, tail flexion of the spine. So as I exhale, I'm going to drop the head and drop the tailbone and feel my mid back float up towards the ceiling. Round spine, cat position. And then just back to neutral. So taking an exhale to find the round spine position. Belly draws in a little bit. Ribs draw in a little bit. Head drops, tail drops. Inhale back to the supported neutral place. And follow your breath here a little bit. A moment ago, I asked you to feel all 4 points on the floor. Sometimes when I start this movement, I lose something, like my feet want to kind of pull off the floor, or all my weight goes into the heel of my hands. So you do a little bit of awareness there too. How are your hands? How are your shins? Next time you're in the round spine position, stay there and do a few breaths in the round spine position. What's it like to inhale into your back when your spine's round, into your shoulder blades, into the back ribs, into the lower back? Maybe there's a little more space there. Sometimes I just like spontaneously start like wagging my tailbone a little bit. Like I start kind of moving my hips side to side slightly. It feels sort of good. If that feels good to you, you can take a little bit of that feeling. And then coming back to the flat back place. And we're going to transition to sitting, however works best for you. And both feet out in front of you. We're going to take your right knee and bend it a little bit so the foot's on the floor. I often put it to where the arch of my foot goes into my calf because I like puzzles and I like to think of my body being a puzzle. And so that's amusing to me. And it also is about the right place. But if it works better to have your foot farther away or somewhere, it's fine. But I don't know, maybe you want to do that little puzzle piece too. And then I'm going to go into that cat position we were just practicing, right? So head and tail, open the back of the spine, let the woken up belly draw in just a little bit, ribs draw in a little bit. Guess where your hands go? They go behind your thigh. And then I keep that nice open, spacious back as I start to tip my whole shape backwards, inhaling through the back. Exhale, letting the belly draw in, drop in, coming down however far works for you. I'm going to go to just that head slightly off the mat place. And then with another exhale, think of that cat pose again. Nice round spine as you push your foot forward and place your foot back on the floor. So there we go, that's that. Now you might take it all the way to the floor and relax. Sometimes that's nice, I like doing that. You might go about halfway back, or you might go to that kind of like lifted the head slightly off the floor, 100 position place like I'm doing. Your choice. One more. And then sliding your right foot forward. Left knee bends. Round your spine, head and tail. Open the back. Wag your tail a little if you want. And then holding the back of the thigh. Letting your abdominals support it. Allow your breath to move through your back. tipping back however far you like. As you come up, same thing. Think of that nice round hands and knees cat position to come up. And it's not tightening around your hips, right? You didn't tighten around your hips to do that when you were on your hands and knees. So you don't have to do that here either. But it's just imagining your back gets a little more open. You draw your belly in. And last one. And all the way up. Okay, how about we do a little single leg circles on the floor? So, lying on your back again, left leg out, right leg in, hold the back of your thigh, and with your inhale, extend your leg up towards the ceiling. With your exhale, flex your foot and bring your foot back down. And then relax your foot, inhale up, exhale, flex your foot, bring it back down. Really simple addition, pointing and flexing like this. I don't always do it, but it's really does a lot of good things for you. Gets the calf pump working and reminds you that you have feet. Sometimes we need reminding that we have feet. Sometimes we think we have pants and shoes, but we don't always think we actually have like legs and feet. And then next time you have the leg up, let's leave it there. And then find your position for your single leg circles. What works best for you? Maybe a little bend in the knee. Maybe I just adjusted my pelvis a little bit to square that off. Hands come by your side. And we start the circle, reaching over to the left across. Exhale around, back up to center. Nice easeful breath fills up your back. And nice easeful exhale lets your bones be heavy, lets your abdominals come on. Holds your torso pretty steady so that your leg can move more freely. If I keep my torso still, I can really move my leg. If I don't keep my torso still, my leg gets sort of confused, right? Too much noise, too many things moving. And then reverse it. Inhale, exhale. One more of these. And then relax your leg down. And let's go right into the left side, holding behind your leg, floating your leg up on the inhale. Flex your foot, really reach your heel so you feel your calf, you feel your ankle, and then hold that as you come down. And then release the foot and reach up. And then toe, ball, heel really reaches, bring it back down. Just get things moving down through that lower leg a little more. One more time, reaching it up. And then once it's up here, find your position. I'm gonna kind of reach my left sits bone down a little bit because that feels nice and kind of squares up my pelvis. My knee stays a little bit. Hands come by your side. And then sometimes too, when my arms go down, I kind of open up my upper back a little too, which feels good. And then start the breath with the movement. Inhale across, exhale around. Inhale, exhale. Really nice, solid back body on the floor. It's so nice to have that feedback of the back of your body. One more. And then try the reverse. Inhale, open. Exhale. Last one. And then relax your knee. Find a way up to sitting, however you like. And let's do a little bit with rolling like a ball. So I think I've said this here and there. I may have said this last week, but I can't remember. It might have been in another class. But rolling like a ball, it's a great exercise, feels really good. And the full rolling like a ball isn't really for everybody. So I'm going to give you a couple options. There's the kind of rocking chair option, and then there's the rolling like a ball. But especially if you have like some worries in your neck or spinal, osteoporosis concerns or things like that, rolling like a ball isn't always the greatest. And the rocking chair is a really good way to do it, or like a really open, sometimes I call it rocking like a boat. Is that what I call it? I think so. Instead of rolling like a ball, I call it rocking like a boat. After the Guys and Dolls song, Don't Rock the Boat, but you do get to rock the boat. And then I also have rocking chair. Let's do all three. And so I can stop talking. So hands on your knees. We're going to find the cat position. And then find your balance. So here's phase one. Can you balance in this position? It's great. Just balance here and breathe, right? This could be what you do. Feeling the weight of your legs in your hands, like your arms are actually holding your legs a little bit. They're kind of like falling, and your upper body connection is holding them. And then phase two is to take that kind of cat spine position. It stays intact, but you just tip it backwards. So this is the one I call rocking chair. You go about as far back as a rocking chair would go, right? Rocking chairs, you don't want them to tip over. That's not great. They don't come back up, right? So rocking chair movement, curling the hips under, rolling back towards the back of the pelvis, and then letting the feet reach towards the floor. Whole time you keep the shape, right? Rocking chairs also have a very solid shape. They don't change their shape as they move. They just tip. Inhale as you tip back. Exhale to float forward. So there's phase two. Maybe you like to stay with phase two. Phase three, rocking like a boat. Boats are really open, right? They just do a little bit, right? You don't want a boat to flip over either, right? Just a little bit. So we start really, really open, holding the backs of your legs instead of your knees. Find that balance. And it's kind of a slow motion, right? It's not very far back. It's just kind of to that 100 shape and then back up. It's a little like that one-legged roll-up we already did, but we do it with both legs. Tipping back, coming back up. So maybe this one works pretty well for you. Doesn't have so much momentum. You can control it a little better. You can breathe through it. And they're all good. Even if you like the full rolling like a ball, these are all nice ways, lead-ins. One more of these. Okay, and then rolling like a ball, right? So maybe we're all doing something slightly different. We have at least 4 different things people could be doing. If you're ready to do rolling like a ball, you like that one, you can do hands on your knees. You can do hands down a little lower on your shins. Your shape is tighter. Really the same thing in all these exercises. Cat position of the spine. Keep the shape steady. Inhale back. Exhale up to the balance. Same action, just a slightly different shape. It's really just the legs and the hips that are changing their shape. A couple more. Last time. And then feet come down. Okay, let's move it into spine stretch. Feet just outside the width of your mat. Heels are just outside the width of your mat. And then knees a little bent, so you're sitting up on your sits bones. Maybe you have a little height, a yoga block, or a meditation cushion, like I'm just randomly pointing to over here. A blanket, you can fold up a blanket if your hips are a little tight. Maybe you grab a chair and you sit up in a chair and just have your feet on the floor. Totally fine. It's a great way to do it. It's an exercise about the spine. It's not really about the legs. So however you want to do it. So we're sitting up really tall. Feel your sits bones. Feel the top of the head. Let the arms float forward. And then we're going to articulate one vertebra at a time. From the head and neck, upper back, collarbones, chest, ribs open, belly gently just falls back towards the spine with your exhale. And then unroll the spine, stack it back up. Such a nice awareness exploration exercise. Spine stretch is a good body scan exercise. So many things I might feel and become more attentive to. Movement is pretty simple. Exhale, rolling forward. And exhaling. As you roll through your spine, what's most evident to you? Do you feel your shoulders? Do you feel your neck? Do you feel your abdominals? Are your feet gripping really hard? No one place has too much effort. Everything has just a little bit of effort, a little bit of attention. No big deal. And relaxing. Okay, looks like it's about that time. We're going to let Scott take over. So, coming up to, I'm going to take a guess, and I might be wrong. I'm sometimes wrong, but I think let's come up to standing. So, take a little stretch, and then unroll your spine. All the way back up.
Let's continue in that vein of moving. So begin as you are. So feet comfortably hip width apart, let your arms hang at your side, and check in with your breathing. So no need to do a really exaggerated, slow, deep breath. Just making sure that the stale air goes out, that the fresh air comes in. All right. So now let's match movement to that breath. With the exhale, sweep your arms up. And let's stay upright. Inhale, arms down. Now, something we worked on last week is the natural movement of the shoulder girdle. So as your arms exhale up, let your shoulders lift up a little bit. And then as you inhale, come down, let your shoulders descend a little bit. So remember, the shoulder girdle is not just a one ball and socket joint, but is a complex of multiple joints. So to fully mobilize your shoulder girdle as you exhale, arms up, shoulders rise along with the arms. Inhale, arms down, shoulder blades descend with the arms. Last one here. Now let your arms hang. In a few moments, scanning your body. What sensations do you feel in your body? So remember, that's the question is what matters. The answer, the specifics, varies for each one of us. So a few more breaths here, the open invitation to feel whatever you may feel in your body. All right, so now let's make some whole body movement. Step your feet wide apart. Turn your left foot in and then your right foot out. And exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Let's do two more like that. We're still matching movement to breath. And keeping your knee bent. Now with the next exhale, tip your hips just a little bit. Hand to knee, hand to hip. Now it can be really tempting to keep your head upright. Let your torso line up with your leg so that your spine, neck, and head are at a diagonal. Then maintaining that diagonal as you bring your left arm forward, sweep it through on that same diagonal. With a little bit of rotation in neck and upper back, take a peek at your ceiling. Now with the inhale, come on up. Exhale, turn back toward the front. And now turn your right foot in, your left foot out. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Couple more. The next time knee in the bent position, pause there for the in-breath. Tip your hips a little bit with the out-breath, hand to knee, hand to hip. Back leg, spine, neck, and head in the diagonal. Then maintaining that diagonality. Is that a word? Let's say hypothetically diagonality is a word. Bring your right arm forward, sweep it through, keep it in that diagonality. And then take a little peek at the ceiling. Few breaths here. And then with the inhale, rise up. Exhale, turn back to the front. And then step your feet together. So now we're going to continue making some full body movements with the partial sun salutation. To begin, inhale into your back. Remember that feeling from before. Then with the exhale, arms up. This time let your gaze follow your hands. And then inhale, folding. Here's another chance to mobilize your spine. Let's pause here for a few breaths. Let the weight of your head decompress your lower back. Open your upper back. And release your neck. Now with the next exhale, reach the crown of your head forward. Let's pause here for a few moments. Then with the next inhale, folding again, let the weight of your head release your whole spine, neck included. Then exhale, roll up, just like you did with Collette a few moments ago. Inhale, arms down. Same thing, a little bit faster. Exhale up. Inhale, folding. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, folding. Exhale all the way up. Inhale, arms down. And once again, step your feet wide apart. Turn your left foot in and then your right foot out. Let's pause here for an inhale. Then with the exhale, bend. Pause here for the inhale. And then tip your hips with the exhale. Let's go a little bit farther this time. So instead of hand to your knee, bring your elbow to your knee. So not the same diagonal as before, but the same basic idea. Once you have a sense that your legs, spine, neck, and head form a continuity, take your left arm up, and then toward the floor, turn your head and neck. And then with the inhale, rise up, turn back to the front, then turn your right foot in, left foot out. Pause here for the in-breath. Exhale, bend. Pause here for the in-breath. Exhale, tip, further than we did on that previous movement. Elbow to knee. Hand on your hip. So take a moment here to find that diagonal line, leg, spine, neck, head, all lined up. Then I'm going to pass on taking this arm up toward the ceiling. I'm working with a shoulder injury. So if you want, take your upper arm straight up toward the ceiling. And then toward the floor, turn your head and neck. Few breaths here. And then rise up with the next inhale. Turn back to the front. And then step your feet together. So we've been doing some partial sun salutations. Now let's add a layer, maybe 2 or 3 layers to it. Begin with the in-breath. Exhale, arms up. Inhale, folding. Exhale, gorilla. And here's an additional step. With the inhale, step back. Yoga pose, head down dog. So again, we can use the weight of your head to help release your spine. And then with the next exhale, step your feet forward, back to gorilla. Inhale, fold. Exhale all the way up. Inhale, arms down. What do you say? Should we do that again or add another layer straight away? Okay, we're going to add in the straight arm plank layer to it. So same origination. Inhale. Exhale, arms up. Let your gaze float up to thoracic extension. Then with the inhale, folding. So here's another chance to mobilize your spine. Exhale, gorilla. Another chance to mobilize your spine. Inhale, stepping back. Let's take a few breaths here, letting the weight of your head in particular release your neck. And then as you feel ready, coming into straight arm plank. So this is sort of like we did in those diagonals. Your legs, spine, neck and head all lined up. Hold here for the in-breath. And then with the exhale, pull your thigh bones back. Let your whole spine trail your thigh bone. Couple breaths here. Exhale, gorilla. With the inhale, fold. Exhale all the way up. Inhale, arms down. Let's add another layer straight away. Exhale up. Inhale, folding. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, back. Exhale, straight arm plank. We'll pause here for a bit. So what, pray tell, is this next step, this next layer? So keeping that torso, neck, leg alignment. Just a little bit bend your elbows. And keep breathing as we hold here for a count of 5, 4, bent elbow plank, 3, 2, 1. And now thigh bones. Pull you back, 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 back to head down dog. Couple of breaths here. Exhale, gorilla. With the inhale, fold. Exhale all the way up. Inhale, arms down. How was that? Let's take a few breaths here. So let go of any control of your breathing and observe how it is that your body naturally breathes. If your breathing's kind of fast, there's no problem with that. And similarly, if your breathing is kind of shallow, there's no problem with that. So a lot of you have heard me talk before that your brainstem is like this incredible supercomputer that's measuring all these data streams and determines how deeply and how fast to breathe. So let's let your forehead brain take a break. And rather than controlling the breathing, witnessing the breath. And remembering that shallow breathing is not bad, fast breathing is not bad. Let your brainstem determine the exact, just right balance of rate and depth. And our last few moments in this particular practice right here, what we get a chance to do is witness and intelligence. The intelligence of your body. Not to say that doing some slower, deeper breathing is a bad thing. It has a lot of benefit. So let's return to that breathing. So forehead brain is exerting just a little bit of control. Gently slowing and deepening your breathing. All right. Now bring your hands to your hips. Step your feet wide apart. Then turn your left foot in, your right foot out. And now turn your left foot in a little bit more so you face toward the side. So once you feel that you're more or less facing toward the side, from your hip sockets, from your ball and socket joints, fold. Let my head kind of cut off there for a moment. That's what happens when you're really tall on the camera. All right. So then looking down. See that foot down there? Typically what we find is most of the weight is in the heel. What's it feel like if you shift the weight from the heel a bit more toward the forefoot? So now see if you can balance the weight from hind foot to forefoot. So once you feel that dynamic balance across the whole surface of that front foot, then bring your left hand down toward your shin and let that rotate your torso. So a variation here of revolved triangle. A few deeper breaths. And with the inhale, come on up and turn back toward the front. So now let's take a look at the other side. Right foot turns in, left foot turns out, right foot turns in a little bit more. And then with your hands on your hips more or less facing toward the side wall, just like we did on the first side, fold from your hips, which is different than folding from your waist or from your shoulders or from your neck. So then looking down at that front foot, hey there, how's it going? Weight tends to default to the heel. Equalize the weight across that foot. And once you feel as much weight in your forefoot as in your hind foot, then take your right hand down. Notice how you rotate as part of that. A few of those slower, deeper breaths. And then with the inhale, come on up. Turn back to the front. And then step your feet together. So in a moment, we're going to make our way down to the floor. And we're going to use gravity to help tune the muscles that support elegant posture. All right, so let's use a partial sun salutation to get there. Begin with the in-breath between your shoulder blades. Exhale, arms to the side, up. Inhale, mobilizing your spine from top to bottom. Exhale, gorilla, mobilizing your spine the other way into extension. Then inhale, stepping back. Let's take a few breaths here. Let the weight of your head release your neck. And exhale to straight arm plank. And then inhale, lower down through bent arm plank. Your knees could come down if that helps out. Now once you're on your belly, point your toes back. To release your neck, stream the crown of your head forward. And then as your toes reach back and the crown of your head reaches forward, then float your hands up. Reach your arms back, palms facing up. And then with the exhale, lift your head and chest. Hold here for the inhale. With the next exhale, lift your straight legs up. And a few breaths right here. And then come on down, replacing your hands by your armpits. And slowly push up to hands and knees that can help build upper body strength. And then back to down dog. A couple of breaths here. And then come on down. So now in sitting, swing your feet forward in front of you. So you've been here before, but this time a little bit different. Before you were here with a rounded spine. Remember that cat pose motif. So now more come onto the fronts of your sitting bones to line your spine up. Your spine doesn't have to be perfectly straight like an arrow, but less of that rounding than what we did before. So keeping that alignment length of your spine, bring your left foot forward. Now for most of us, let's keep this right foot right here where it is. But if you want more challenge, what you could do is pick that foot up and over. Now, if that caused that sitting bone to lift up, best to go back to where you were. If that causes a pinching in your groin, best to go back to where you were. So some of us leg on the same side, some of us leg crossed over. Either way, now take that left arm, bring it across, other hand behind. Deep breathing. And then back to the front. Taking both legs forward. Now bring your left leg in. Could be same side. Could be other side. Remember the criteria? Keeping the sitting bone down. No pinching feeling in your groin. Now whether leg across or not, now take your right arm, bring it across, other arm behind. Deep breathing. And then coming back toward the front. Then both feet forward. Remember you did the spine stretch before? So it's about mobilizing your spine. You had your feet a little bit apart to do it. It's going to be a very similar idea, except this time the legs closer together. Reaching your arms forward and articulating your spine. But this time the other difference, in addition to your legs closer together, is there's a little folding from your hips too. And then hands maybe come to your knees, maybe to your shins, sometimes even to ankles or feet. Steady breathing. And then rolling up. All right. Then taking a seat. So you could sit on the floor or on a cushion. Probably best to sit in a chair, and perfectly okay to recline. So whatever position you're in, attention tends to be focused externally. Gently turn your mind to observe itself. So whatever thoughts may be present, cognizant of those thoughts. Whatever sensations may be present, cognizant not so much of the sensations, but your perception of those sensations. So mind, how we interpret experience, both external and internal. Turning your mind to observe itself. So we shift from the experience to the experiencer. And the question said to lead to realization in several different traditions is to ask who or what is the experiencer. All right. So at the outset, Collette mentioned it's been kind of a crazy week, hasn't it? And so it can be really nice to move and return to the body. Sometimes even the body feels kind of tight or stiff when things are kind of awry. So it could seem sort of counterintuitive to return to the body. But even if your body is kind of achy or stiff, like quite often feeling your body, moving your body, breathing can really help calm your mind. Now, what I finished with here may seem a little bit abstract or esoteric, but especially in times of stress, it can be useful to observe what is the experiencer, not as a way to reject experience or put our head in the sand, but to work more objectively with our own perception. So thank you so much for joining us. If you like what we do, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. So that red button, subscribing, helps us out quite a bit. Any comments, questions in the chat? Looks like it's all quiet. Really appreciate you joining us. If you like what we do, in addition to subscribing to our YouTube channel, you may want to consider subscribing to our programs. And you can find out more at pilatesonharrison.com or scottandersonyoga.com. Thanks so much.